We're now officially at the point of the season where NBA trade rumors are spreading like wildfire. The Knicks have already gotten linked to several names, and in today's video, we're going to discuss another potential trade target of the Knicks, and that player is DeAaron Fox. According to Bleacher Report, there's a lot of smoke that DeAaron Fox could be available by the NBA trade deadline. And with the Knicks being severely weak at the point guard position, expect them to be one of the teams to have interest should Fox become available. I'm going to briefly give some context on the DeAaron Fox situation in Sacramento before I discuss the pros and cons of a DeAaron Fox trade. DeAaron Fox was selected by the Kings with the number 5 pick back in 2017. He had a modest rookie year where he averaged just 11 points per game, but he improved every year, and now he's undeniably one of the top point guards in the NBA. Last season, he had a career year where he averaged 25 points and 7 assists per game on 47% shooting. Despite playing at an elite level, DeAaron Fox has never made a single All-Star team, but his All-Star caliber play earned him a max extension with the Kings last summer. But despite DeAaron Fox's amazing play, the Kings are still a bad team and haven't made the playoffs in over 15 years. They currently have a record of 12-17, which puts them 12th in the West. DeAaron Fox has grown frustrated with Sacramento's futility, and with the Kings struggling, it's being speculated that Sacramento may want to trade DeAaron Fox. The Kings already have a budding point guard in Tyrese Halliburton and another good point guard that they just drafted in Davion Mitchell, so it's possible that they look to trade Fox to get help at other positions. If Fox does become available for the Knicks, there's many pros to adding him to the roster. One of the ways he could help the Knicks on the court is that he would give them an elite shot creator. If the Knicks were to add Fox, he would be arguably their best player. Nobody on the Knicks has consistently produced on offense this year. Even Julius Randle, who the Knicks maxed out over the offseason, looks like an all-star some nights and the old Randle on other nights. Fox is a player that brings it every night. He's possibly the fastest player in the league, and thanks to that insane speed, he's able to constantly beat defenders to the rim. He draws a lot of contact on his drives, which is why he averages 6 free throw attempts a game and hits them at a decent 74%. And his game has expanded to the point where he's a decent pull-up shooter from mid-range. While he's a bad three-point shooter, defenders still can't keep him out the paint, and as a result, he's a constant threat to break down the defense. Another area where Fox can really help is playmaking. Fox is one of the better playmakers in the league, evidenced by his career 6 assists per game average. He isn't always looking to get his on his drives to the rim, as he often kicks the ball out to open shooters or passes it to the big inside on his drives. Fox would make the game so much easier for everyone on the Knicks. Evan Fournier, who's been in a slump all year, would feast off the open looks generated by Fox. Mitchell Robinson would get way more lobs running pick and roll with Fox, and Julius Randle would have less pressure on offense playing next to a point guard that can play make at a high level. The last pro I'm going to mention is that Fox could still be a part of the Knicks rebuild. Despite being in the league for 5 seasons, he's still very young at just 23 years old. Because he fits the timeline of the other Knicks young players, this can give the Knicks a much wider window to compete. If the Knicks were to acquire a veteran like Dame, they may only be competitive for the next 3 to 5 years. But Fox makes the Knicks competitive for the next 10. And because he's so young, he could continue to get better and perhaps even reach superstardom once he enters his prime. Now let's talk about cons. The first con I'm going to mention is DeAaron's lack of defense. DeAaron Fox has struggled mightily on defense this year. In fact, his defensive rating ranks 3rd worst amongst starting point guards in the NBA. He's undoubtedly contributed to a Kings defense that ranks bottom 5 in the NBA. What's disappointing about this fact is that Fox has the tools to be a terrific defender. He's super athletic and has good size at 6'3" with a 6'6" wingspan. For a player like Fox, his lack of defense probably has more to do with effort than lack of ability. But Tom Thibodeau is one of the best defensive minds in the league, so maybe his coaching could turn Fox into a good defender. But the biggest con is the insane amount of assets that it would take to get Fox. Because Fox has emerged as an elite player and still has 4 years left on his contract, the Kings would definitely want a king's ransom in exchange for Fox. The Knicks would likely have to give up a significant number of key young players, including RJ Barrett, as well as several first-round picks. The Knicks would have to figure out the right trade package for Fox and if it's worth to lose a huge chunk of their assets for him. Anyway guys, that's going to be the end of the video. Do you want the Knicks to trade for Fox? What would your trade package be for him? Tell me in the comments. Make sure to like the video and subscribe if you enjoyed this, and have a great rest of your day.